Hey everyone, I'm taking a look at the new Nominating Contract packs on eFootball. There's no match pass anymore. They've removed that from the game, so we don't have any match pass players to look at. They've added a few players to one or two different packs and campaigns. I'll be doing more videos to cover all the new players. For this one, I'll do my usual. I'll run through all the 4-star players and I'll give my recommendations for the ones I think are the best value for 4 stars. And then I'll do likewise for the 5 stars. So as I mentioned, there's no match pass. So where do we get the Nominating Contracts from? I'll just show you quickly. So you go to events. AI, and then you see the starter event here. You go to rewards within this event. Did they slightly change that? So here you see from this AI event, you get a 4-star and a 5-star. Just the 1 4-star, 1 5-star, and the rest is just like tokens, trainers, whatever else. Decent little event this to get a bunch of decent rewards. But yeah, this is where you get your Nominating Contracts. Just 1 4-star and 1 5-star. And this event lasts for, is it a 3-weeker? Yeah, so we're halfway through the week. So this event's lasting 3 weeks in total. Quite interesting that. Because when we go to the packs, the special player list, whatever it's called, I always forget where you go because they've changed it around. So you go to contracts, special player list. So we look at the Nominating Contract packs. We've got a J-League, Brazilian League, and then a 5-star one. The expiry date on the J-League and Brazilian League ones in total is 6 weeks. So we've got 5.5 weeks left. And then the back in the game one with the 5 stars, that's 4 weeks. And we've got 3.5 weeks after that. So we've got a 4 week for the 5 stars, a 6 week for the J-League and Brazilian League, which are mostly 4 stars, and the event lasts for 3 weeks. So I'm not sure what the routine is going to be now. It looks like it's not going to be a set kind of monthly thing, because obviously in the past we've had a match pass each month with the 90 contracts, and it's all been kind of in sync. Whereas now it looks like there's going to be a lot of overlapping. I would hope that when that AI event ends, there'll be another one straight after with more Nominating Contracts to get, but we don't know yet. We'll have to wait and see. But quite interesting the expiry dates and all of these. But as for the players, let's get into it and take a look at them. So like I say, J-League and Brazilian League, we've got 4 stars in those 2 packs, and we'll start with the J-League pack. So we'll go straight into the J-League pack. We've got a whopping 6 to choose from in here. Let's start with one of the lowest rated ones. We've got 2 90s over here. Let's start with this fellow. We'll start with Tomoya Ando. So this is the first time I've had a feature version of Ando. He's an extra frontman. That might not be a cup of tea, but as you would have seen if you've been watching my recent videos about tactics and stuff, extra frontman doesn't seem to do anything different to a build-up. It's quite an interesting one, that. He's got a face scan, of course. He's about 6'3", decent height for a centre-back. And he's looking kind of okay for a 4-star, but not amazing. The first thing that stands out to me is 83 tackling is not great. Even on a 4-star, that's a bit of a concern for me. He's not the quickest. He's not disastrously slow, but he could do with a bit more pace. Jumping's not brilliant, though. He's got a decent height. He does have aerial superiority. Looking at his GP card in eFootball Hub, it looks like his GP card only has heading, and it doesn't say aerial superiority, but I don't know if eFootball Hub is still playing up with aerial superiority, so he might already have that, but certainly all the rest of these skills are new. So first time shot, so that's probably why he's in player of the month, because he scored a goal. And then we've got man marking, section blocker, accurate clearance, fighting spirit. I think defensively all he's lacking there is sliding tackle, so he got a good searching of skills, a very good searching skills for a centre-back. The stats, like I say, not amazing. You compare him to his GP card, it's a pretty regular boost for a trending centre-back. They put a bit on his pace, on his stamina, a bit on his jumping as well. They don't always do that on trending centre-backs, and a bit on his passing. So yeah, that's pretty much what you expect from a trending centre-back card. The defensives have been boosted a little bit overall, although the defensive awareness and tackling are actually slightly down. It's just the aggression and the engagement that are up. So yeah, like I say, these defensive attributes, most of them are kind of okay. They're around the borderline of being okay. But tackling is the one that's a bit low. 83 tackling is a bit iffy. He could do with a bit more pace. 69 acceleration is not great. 54 balance, he's not great on the ball. You expect that. I mean, he's an extra frontman though. If he is going to play like an extra frontman, which is a big if, but if he's going to start wandering forward, getting into the midfield, I think he'd want a little bit more on those on the ball attributes. So yeah, there's a few concerns there. Tackling's the big concern, and the stats aren't amazing. He does have a very good selection of skills, but on the whole, I think it's quite a mere centre-back for a 4-star. You know, you could get away with him. If you've got a J-League squad and you don't have that many decent cards yet, he could do a job for you. But if you've been playing for any length of time and, you know, working and building a J-League squad for any length of time, you've probably got better centre-back options by now. I don't think it's a terrible card, but with the tackling being as low as it is, and not being a bit better athletically there, you know, he does have a decent height and aerial superiority, but 80 jumping, his vertical reach won't be great. And he's not going to be the quickest. You know, centre-backs these days, they seem to have been beefing up the pace on centre-backs over the past year or so. Quite a bit. A lot of centre-backs you see them getting sort of over 80 for speed and at least over 70 if not higher for acceleration. So a little bit on the slow side maybe for a centre-back. Vertical reach isn't great. Tackling's iffy. There's a few negatives with this guy, but he's not terrible. He's just not too exciting for a 4-star contract. And next we have Daiki Fukazawa. So again, got a face scan, obviously. Oh, he's not actually. Is that a face scan? I'm not sure. I'm looking close up. Yeah, it is. I think it is. Anyways, box to box, left midfield. So we've got another wide midfield. I've had a few like this lately. Wide midfielders with the box to box playing style. It's an interesting playing style, an uncommon playing style out wide. We'll see whether he is a wide midfielder though, because he's got two right back and left back as well. We have actually had one highlight version of Fukazawa a while back now. Pretty similar overall, but shuffled around because he's had a position change. He's normally a fullback, and they changed him to a left midfielder. So he's normally an attacking fullback. They've pushed him up to left midfield, made him a box to box. They've added left midfield as a position. So a different profile to his previous highlight, different profile to his GP as well. If you compare the stats, obviously it's a different profile. It's kind of hard to compare, but a bit less speed here, but way better down the left column than his GP card. All his skills are new. They've added a bunch of skills. So accurate finishing, first time shot, one touch pass, pinpoint crossing, interception, sliding tackle, fighting spirit. So he's got a bit of everything there. But like I said, the question is going to be where you're going to play him, because if he's a wide midfielder, he is horrible on the ball. He's not got a great deal of product there. Has he got any pace? He's got a bit of pace. He's not rapid, but he's not slow. The balance isn't great. The attacking awareness is pretty horrible. I'm not sure about this guy as a wide midfielder. He's got pinpoint crossing, but lofted pass 82. Okay, so his crossing will be half decent, but not amazing. One touch pass, and he's got a couple of shooting skills. I don't rate this guy as a left midfielder at all. He's a right foot, he'll be cutting inside. Could you get away with him? Maybe. I mean, with 1-2 shooting skills, his finishing still won't be great. It's at 69 before your game plan boost. So yeah, looking at this guy on the ball and then product wise, yes, the crossing will be okay. Apart from that though, it's really lacking in the attacking awareness as well. I don't rate this guy as a wide midfielder at all. I've just noticed actually, I think his weaker foot usage is up a bit. I'm not entirely sure how accurate eFootball Hub is at the moment, but yeah, might have put his weaker foot usage up a bit. But yeah, I don't see this guy as a wide midfielder. I'm looking at this guy and I'm thinking he is more likely a fullback. So again, the pace isn't amazing, but he's not slow. The rest of these attributes down the right are fine. I'd like a little bit more on the physical contact and balance, but this is a 4-star card. You can't ask too much. Stamina likewise, you're going to be a bit shy of the 90 mark, but he should be just about okay. Down the middle there for an attacking fullback, that's fine. As you would have seen if you watched my video, I've done a few videos so far checking out players who playing different positions without an active playing style. I've done fullbacks alongside centre backs and defensive midfielders, and what we found with fullbacks is that they basically play like an attacking fullback. So I'm going to see this guy as primarily an attacking fullback when we're looking at him for that fullback position. So if he's an attacking fullback, I think those stats are okay. If he was a defensive fullback, I think it'd be a little bit lacking with the awareness and attacking. You want a bit more on there. But certainly for an attacking fullback, I think he's okay down the middle. Down the left, I'd like a bit more on the ball, even for a fullback, but you can certainly get away with that. And then certainly with a low and lofted pass, you can get away with that, and the crossing will be decent enough for an attacking fullback. So if as a left midfielder, I don't rate this guy at all. As a fullback, right-footed, he's not overly two-footed, and he doesn't have outside curler, so it might be a bit uncomfortable at left back, but certainly as a right back, you see that he's got interception, sliding tackle, fighting spirit, and then going forward, a couple of shooting skills, but more importantly, one-touch pass and pinpoint crossing. I think as an attacking fullback on the right, this guy is fairly solid. I don't think he's an amazing card. There's a lot of attributes that I'd want to be a little bit higher, but as a fullback, I don't think there's anything disastrously bad. I think he's one where if you need fullback options for your J-League squad, he could actually do a job for you. So as a left midfielder, no, even if it was a 3-star, I wouldn't fancy this guy at all, but as a 4-star, if you're going to play him as a fullback, especially as a right back, he might not be amazing, and there might be a bunch of attributes you'd like to be a little bit higher, but I think on the whole, he could be a very usable one and a half decent option as a right back for your J-League squad for a 4-star contract. And next we have Élber, who's just joined Cash Marantas in real life. So if you want an Élber F Marinos card, this will be your last chance. He's just left them. He's got a face scan. He's a left wing forward, prolific winger, as he usually is. We've had a few versions of Élber. There's an old Player of the Month card ages ago as a roaming flank, pretty similar to this one overall, but had less skills than this one. I think this one looks just ever so slightly better overall, to be honest. Not a massive difference. So there was an Élber card in the original J-League Player of the Season pack. That was about 3 years ago now, 2.5 years ago. I cleared that pack. I've still got that card. I quite like it, to be honest. He's quite small, 170 centimeters, so he's got a bit of a low centre of gravity. He's always been pretty nippy, pretty nimble, quite neat on the ball. So I quite like that card. And this one's pretty similar in terms of overall ability to that one. And there's also one other version that's more recent, a highlight version, which is a little bit better than this one overall, but again, not a massive difference really. He's not the most exciting boost really from his GP card. They just kind of bumped the most stats up by a few really. Nothing really stands out, just made him it's just a slightly better version of him really than his GP card really. And then skill-wise, like I say, more skills than one or two of the previous versions. So they've added, I think, soul control, first time shot, and I think pinpoint crossing is new. Didn't have that before. Certainly my version doesn't. So you've got a pretty decent selection of skills here. Soul control's a nice one to add. Heading, I didn't realise he already had heading. He's a tiny fella. Long range curve is a good one. First time shot, through passing, pinpoint crossing. Got fighting spirit as well, which helps with a small, weak player. Yeah, pretty decent selection of skills here. He's got a few positions he can play. I think attacking midfield is out of the question because his passing is going to be terrible. Yes, he's got through passing, but 72 low pass, yeah, you can't pass this guy to save his life. But wide left, he's got long range curler when he cuts it onto his right foot. On the right, he's now arguably usable with pinpoint crossing. I mean, you could use him there anyways, but as a right footer on the right, I think most people would probably want to be able to cross the ball. 77 lofted with pinpoint crossing. He's not going to have terrible crossing. I'd like it to be better though, so I'm not sure about him on the right, but I think on the left, that's where I've used mine the most. He could be a handy one. Like I say, I've got a version of Élber, and in my experience, he's one of these players. He's small, he's nimble, he's nippy, quick. He feels neat on the ball. I've always enjoyed using mine. And I mean, this one's got a similar kind of overall ability to mine. So on that basis, I would say this guy might be worth considering. If you're just looking at the stats, and if it weren't for the fact I've used him before, I might be a bit unsure because, yeah, the dribbling's kind of okay. You're at least in +3 territory there if you've got an 88 plus manager. But the ball control and type possession aren't brilliant. Obviously, the low pass isn't particularly good, even for a wide man. Lofted and finishing are kind of okay. He's got a bit of pace about him, reasonable balance. He doesn't look too exciting, but just the fact he's got that low center of gravity, and like I say, the fact I've used him before myself, I think this guy might be worth considering. If you're not sure, you can always obviously do an exhibition match and try these, just choose the teams that these players play for and try their GP cards out. I would recommend that if you're not sure about this guy, because you might find what I've found, which is he's nippy, he's nimble, he feels nice on the ball. One thing I will say is that I've not played many matches since the update. I just did a few on stream the other day. And it does feel like the game's kind of slowed down a little bit. And I used a couple of small, nimble players who just didn't feel quite as nippy and responsive as they did before the update. But I don't know if that's just me not being used to the update yet. Hopefully they've not changed anything that would reduce the kind of the appeal of players like this. If they have, then that could be a negative. But yeah, that might just be me not being used to the update yet. But like I say, my personal experience, this guy feels neat on the ball. He's nimble. He's nippy. I like him. It's not an amazing card when you look at the stats, but I think for a 4-star contract, if you like this type of winger, does have a pretty decent selection of skills there. You can play him left or right. I think he could be a handy option for your J-League squad. So not an amazing looking card, but largely based on my personal experience of him, I think it could be one that you could have a bit of fun with, and he may well be worth considering. And next we have Sei Muroya. He's back in Japan. He does not have a face scan. That's quite remarkable. A J-League player without face scan. He's been in Europe for years, to be fair, so he's probably going to get on with the next update, I'd imagine. So yeah, FC Tokyo right back. He's an attacking right back. It's the first time I've had a feature version of him because he's not been playing for a licensed team. I think he was at Hanover in Germany for about maybe 5 or 6 years or something. And boost from his GP card. We lost a bit of lower body. You often get that with a trending fullback, so we lost a bit of his lower body, speed, kicking power, stamina. But they boosted defenses, physical contact. The left column's been boosted a bit. It's a pretty nice boost he's had. I've got to say overall he's looking pretty solid. One thing I will say before I forget, he's a right back. He's right-footed, but he's very two-footed. He's fully two-footed and he can play left back. So this is a guy you can actually play quite comfortably right back and left back. So that's a big positive with this guy. And I do think overall it's a pretty solid looking card. The pace is decent. He's got a bit of physical strength. He's got a decent balance, decent stamina. Defensively, he's looking okay. It is an attacking fullback again, like I said with Fukazawa. If you like a defensive fullback, it might be a little bit on the low side. Some of these attributes, the tackling is not going to quite hit the 80 mark. Aggression, if you like a bit more aggression on a defender, then you might feel that's a bit low. On the ball, he's not brilliant, especially the tight possession. Certainly the dribbling is okay though. Ball control, I think a lot of people would say that's fine for fullback. I would like it to be a bit higher. So on the whole, I'd say he's a little bit lacking on the ball there, but not disastrously. And then low enough to pass are fine for a fullback. Skill-wise, all the skills are new. Through passing and pinpoint crossing going forward, and then defensively, man marking, interception, blocker, sliding, fighting spirit. Really good section skills for an attacking fullback. I think this is a very solid right back. I think it's one of the better 4-stars we've had, certainly since we had Riku Handa from Gamba Osaka. That was a right back card a few months back. It was a really good 4-star. I think this is a good solid 4-star as well. I mentioned Fukazawa could be worth considering as a right back. But if you're going to get a right back for your JD squad, I think this is better. I think this is a solid one. Yes, there are a few attributes I'd like to be a little bit higher. But I think on the whole, for a 4-star contract, this guy's very usable. I'm going to be getting him 100%. I mean, I've got a beefy JD squad. I've spun a bunch of the Showtime packs, but if I didn't have a right back and forward and this guy's got form in any given week, I'd have no problem playing him. You know, 2-foot, he can play him right or left. Yes, if he attributes a little bit on the low side, but on the whole, I think it's very usable. He's got all the most important skills for an attacking right back. And yeah, I think for a 4-star as a fullback option, not just right back, but left back, very usable. He's got right midfield. I don't think he's anywhere near good enough down that left column to play right wing, but certainly as a fullback on the right primarily, but of course on the left because he's fully 2-footed. I think he's very solid. I think this is one of the better 4-stars we've had in recent times. And speaking of good 4-star cards, I've been waiting ages for another Yuki Soma card. I've got an old Player of the Week card of his, which isn't great. This one looks really neat. So he's a creative playmaker. That's the one negative for me with this card. I got a face scan, of course. But yeah, creative playmaker. He's down as an attacking midfielder. They've added that as a position. I'm not sure he's an attacking midfielder for Mashida. He's been having a really good season for them. He's kind of playing as they play with one striker and then two just behind, and he's the kind of left centre one. I would say he's more like a left wing, whatever his play style is. You could argue playmaker. Maybe he's pull-up winger, maybe he's roaming flank, but attacking mid for me, I'm not sure about that. But certainly in game in terms of how usable he is, I'm also not sure about attacking midfield because 77 low pass is just not good enough. He doesn't have any passing skills. He's got pinpoint crossing, but he's not got one-touch pass or through passing. Only 77 low pass. So yeah, again, you can forget about this guy being an attacking midfielder. You got another creative playmaker who can't pass the ball. They've been doing that on quite a few cards in recent months, and it really annoys me. They just don't seem to think about what they're doing. I do get it, you know, a creative playmaker will often kind of hang back and look to get on the ball from deep. Sometimes they want to do that because they just want to start dribbling with the ball or having long shots from deep, and in that case, it can kind of fit with the playing style. But it just seems a bit silly to me that they would use that playing style that's called a playmaker when they just can't pass the ball. But anyway, I won't rant any longer on that. But on the whole, though, this is a very tight-looking card because this guy for me has always been a winger. And even though I don't like the creative playmaker playing style out wide, if you look at this guy as a winger, and obviously that the playing style issue is only a personal thing, it might be fine for you. On the ball, he's pretty tidy. End product wise, he's all right out wide. So obviously the passing's not amazing, but for a wide man, it's not as important as it would be as an attack midfielder. 80 lofted passing, pinpoint crossing. He's got an okay cross on him. His finishing is going to hit the 80 mark in the game plan. He's got long range curler, long range shooting, and first time shot. I'd like a bit more speed on him, but you're at least in +3 territory. Your acceleration is going to hit 90. He's got some kicking power on him. He's got a little bit of physical strength for a teeny fella. Balance is going to hit 90 as well. So yeah, this is another one. Like I said with Élber, he's going to feel neat on the ball. That old Player of the Week card I got of his does feel neat on the ball. And I've actually picked this guy up on my Japan account already and given him a try. This for me is one of the better 4-stars we've had in a while. I said it just now with Muroya. I think we've got 2 cards in this pack that are genuinely good for a 4-star contract, and this is definitely one of them. I think this is probably the pick. He's going to feel nice on the ball. He's going to be nippy. He's got a little bit of end product from out wide. And his skill-wise, what have they added skill-wise? They've added long-range curler and long-range shooting and first-time shots. So all the shooting skills are new. Penalty specialist as well. Not sure that's overly important, but yeah, what else we got? So you got a few skill moves, soul control, a nice one to have. Crossing, you already had that. Outside curler, yeah, he's got a pretty good stretching skill. Just a shame he's not got more with his passing, really. But yeah, it's a tidy version of someone. We have had a few versions of him. What that boost from his GP card first? So he's got a bit more speed, a bit less acceleration. Interesting. So that's probably the right way around because he is a bit lacking in speed. Big boost to his physical contact. Yeah, I had a feeling that been boosted a lot. So what about previous versions? So it's a slight upgrade to both of his Player of the Week cards. There was one from the World Cup and there's one from a regular worldwide one. That's the one I got from when he's playing for Casapia in Portugal. So this is a slight upgrade on those. He's also got more skills than both of those. That World Cup one was a cross specialist, by the way, in case you're wondering. And he's also had a highlight card in some kind of Japan Showtime or Legend box. I'm not sure what pack that was in, but it's similar to that card overall. Stats are kind of shuffled around a little bit. We've got more skills in this one, but we can't train it. And you can't the one you can train, you can't make him an attack midfielder because he's a wide forward. So yeah, pros and cons, but this is a pretty nice looking version of Soma. And like I say, for a 4-star contract, I think it's a really tidy card. He's got a bit of pace. He's going to be nippy. He's got the balance. He's going to be nice on the ball. Decent attacking awareness. He's got a bit of end product. Left or right could be pretty handy. I wouldn't be surprised there's going to be another version of him actually, because just not this weekend, but last weekend he scored an absolute banger. I think there's going to be a Showtime version of this guy sooner rather than later. He may well be in the Player of the Season pack at the end of the season as well. He's having a really good season. So yeah, I'm hoping for that, and I'm hoping he won't be a creative playmaker. But even if he is, and even this card as a creative playmaker, I think this is a really good 4-star card. He's versatile, left or right. You could play him in the middle if you like. Just be very careful with his passing. But for your J-League squads, could be handy. Even outside of the J-League, he could be usable. I think it's a tidy looking card, this. For a 4-star contract, then I think I'm going to put my neck on the line straight away and say this is probably going to be the pick of them. Really nice looking card, this. And next we have Daiju Sasaki from Vissel Kobe. So he's been playing as a striker, deep line forward. They've been missing Osaka. Muto has both been injured for ages. He's got a face scan, of course. He's got pretty cool hair. Got kind of a red streak in his hair. Inconsistent form. Just noticed that. That's not great. It's a bit harsh on him, actually. They've added attack midfielders. No, they're not. I'm looking at the wrong notes. I'm looking at someone still. There we go. They've added centre forward as a position. So he's normally an attacking midfielder and he's normally a whole player. I've got a version of him that's an attacking midfielder. I like him out wide, actually. He's a super sub. I like throwing him on out wide. He's pretty decent. He's actually a bit better on the ball than he looks in my personal experience. I don't remember what the stats are on mine, but my one, I think his stats are a bit better than this, and he does feel alright on the ball. He's not looking great on the ball though, this guy. But yeah, he's still got attacking midfield and wide positions, but he's got centre forward and SS. He's not always had that. He's had a few versions, Sasaki. I think his weak foot accuracy may have been increased. And yeah, like I say, this is the first version of him that they've given us since they added centre forward. We have had a few. There's one roaming flank, others whole player. But this is an interesting version. It's one of these ones where I think it might just be one we look at and say it's useful with the fact that you can play a bunch of different positions. He's kind of okay in a few positions. But that's one of the first things I noticed with the attributes. So he's not great on the ball. They boosted his dexterity and his lower body. They boosted his finishing, his physical and aerial strength. That's about it. Skill-wise, long range shooting, first time shot, through passing I think is new, pretty sure that's new. Pinpoint crossing, he's outside curler new as well. He's got a pretty good selection of skills here, and he's a super sub. He was already a super sub, like I say, mine's a super sub. So got a couple of shooting skills, through passing and pinpoint crossing. Yeah, he's kind of decent, this card. He just doesn't look particularly great at anything, because if you're going to use him as a centre forward, attacking where it's 81, finishing 81, they are not high enough. So you're dropping deeper than that. As an attacking midfielder, his normal position, passing is not good enough. 82 for low pass. Yes, he's got through passing. You could argue you can get away with that, but he's not great on the ball. I'm not sure he's going to cut it as an attacking midfielder. You move out wide, left or right. Is he quick enough? I'm not sure. Is he good enough on the ball? I'm really not sure. I wonder if SS is his best position. Just off the attack, the deep line forward playing style will be active. He'll be just be kind of loitering around just off the attack. Is he good enough on the ball? The passing is probably borderline good enough as an SS. Finishing attacking awareness, yeah, probably borderline again. Maybe SS is where he's best. Skill-wise, got a bit of everything. I feel like this could just be one of those cards where he's just a really handy one, just a really useful one to have, because in any given week, if he's got form, there's a bunch of roles he can play. He is a super sub, remember. He's quite two-footed, and he's got outside curler as well. A little bit of end product with his passing, his crossing, and his shooting. Yeah, it could be a handy one, just, not great on the ball, and he doesn't have that low centre of gravity either. I think he just could be a handy one. It could be okay in a bunch of positions. I don't think he's going to be great in any position. When I think about obviously my J-League squad on my main account, it's a pretty beefy squad with all the showtimes I've got. Even if I think about my J-League squad on my Japan account, which is, I've only just got enough players to do a full squad of highlights and player of the month cards. I'm not sure I'd be getting in that squad. I think you need to have form, and even then, I don't fancy him over a lot of the options I've got. So I'm not going to say this is a bad card, because it's clearly not a bad card. He does have some ability, but like I say, you look through all the attributes, there's nothing particularly good there. He's not particularly great at anything. He's just kind of okay in a bunch of areas, but he is useful because he can play a bunch of positions. You can get away with him in just about any position. I just don't personally think he'd be great in any of them. I think SS just behind the attack is probably where he'd be best. And you could play him wide left as an SS as well, actually. He's got he's not got long range curler. Yeah, it's a bit of a stretch maybe, but yeah, you got a bunch of ways you can use this guy. Up front, just behind the attack, to the side of the attack, wide midfield or attack midfield. There are a few areas where he's a bit lacking in any of those positions, but he does have a reasonable amount of ability overall, and he could do a job in a bunch of those positions. So a useful card, a versatile card, a super sub as well. I just don't think he's particularly amazing at anything, so it's not the most exciting 4-star for me. Right, let's head to Brazil, because we've got some 4-stars in there. I think 4 of these 6 are 4 stars. Yeah, so I got 2 5-stars there. We've got 4 4-stars. So let's start with this fella. So we have Benjamín Rollheiser from Santos. He has a face scan. And again, we have a creative playmaker, attack midfielder, who can't pass. What are they doing? Why are they doing that? 78 low passes. He had the passing skills. Okay, he's got 1 touch and through. He's got weighted as well, but he still can't pass the ball. 78 for low pass is bad. And he's a creative playmaker, attack midfielder. Like, what are they doing? He's normally a right wing forward, so they've made him an attacking midfielder, and he's a creative playmaker. I think that's his normal playing style, but they've not bothered to make him good at passing. It's just it turns my brain inside out. But anyways, I think it looks like the first time I've had a feature version of this guy. They boosted his end product a bit, but he still can't pass the ball despite being a creative playmaker, attack midfielder. He got a bit of a boost on his kicking power, his physical contact as well. What they've done skill wise, not sure what's going on here. So according to eFootball Hub, his GP card is aerial superiority. I'm just gonna take a wild guess that that's eFootball Hub playing up. Then he's not normally got that. 175 centimeters, normally a right winger. Yeah, I don't think he's got aerial superiority, but he certainly doesn't have it on this version of him. It looks like they've removed no look pass as well and added, I think it's chip shot control and 1 touch pass. So nothing major going on here, but we've got a pretty good section of skills on him. Cut line and turn, soul control, then we've got chip shot control, long range shooting, accurate finishing, first time shot. You've got a bunch of shooting skills. And then when it comes to creating, you've got 1 touch pass, 3 passing, weighted pass, pinpoint crossing. So they've boosted his end product on his attributes. They've given us some skills as well to back that up, albeit he's already got them, most of them, or all of them. Most of them, I think it's just 1 touch passes new. So yeah, got the skills, and they've boosted the attributes as well. So end product wise, certainly a lot better off than his GP card is, but how good is he? You know, it is a 4-star card, but it's another one where, you know, you look at the different positions, which positions are going to be good in. If you play him in his normal position of right wing, 82 speed is not the quickest, decent on the ball. He's got a bit of end product. Is he still going to be best as a right winger? Maybe. If you don't mind a slight lack of pace and a wide man, he could well be. But as an attack midfielder, the position they've changed him to, I just don't think he's good enough for passing. You know, if he use manual passing, it might be fine. You can get away with it for sure. But I don't think his passing is good enough. There's an SS just behind the attack. Would his passing be good enough? I still think it probably wouldn't, to be honest. He's a creative playmaker. He's not going to be darting in behind the defence all the time. He's going to be hanging back just behind the attack as an SS, wanting to get on the ball. And on that basis, his passing still won't be good enough. So, yeah, there's some decent attributes here. He's not too bad on the ball. He's certainly got the acceleration there, a bit of kicking power. Attack race is decent. But there's a few attributes that aren't so great, and I just don't see him being great in any position here. I don't think he's quite got the pace to play right wing. I don't think he's got the passing to play attack mid or SS. So, yeah, some qualities there. Maybe he could be a useful, versatile option for your Brazilian league squad, but I just don't think he's quite got the most important attributes to be able to cut it in any of his positions, to be honest. So, yeah, some might find this guy's okay. I've never used any version of him, but just looking at the stats, like I say, I don't think he can pass it well to the player through the middle. I don't think he's got the pace really to be a good wing, although you might not mind a slight lack of pace. So maybe his right wing could be decent, but yeah, for me, either through the middle or wide right, I don't think this guy looks particularly great, even for a 4-star, really. Next up, we have another attack midfielder who can't pass the ball to save his life. So we've got Eduardo Sasha, whole player, got a face scan again. He's normally a centre forward on a goal poacher, so they've moved him back to attack midfield. Slightly different version. We've had a previous player of the month version of Sasha, actually. That was a goal poacher centre forward. Similar kind of overall level of ability, but obviously the profile, the kind of balance of the attributes is different because this is an attacking midfield version. He's been boosted a bit on the ball. They've boosted his passing, even though he still can't pass the ball well enough to play attack midfield. He's got a bit more speed than normal. And of course, they've boosted his defensive ability. Why would you not boost the defensive ability of an attacking player? I mean, maybe he defended well over the past month. I don't know. What they've done skill-wise, so it looks like they've added long-range curler, 1-touch pass, penalty specialist, captaincy, fighting spirit. So we've got some decent skills there, but again, 1-touch pass, okay, but no through passing and 76 low pass. Who's going to play this guy as an attacking midfielder? I'm not, because he can't pass the ball. So yeah, where are you going to play him? SS just behind the attack, still no through passing and 76 low pass, not good enough, and he's not great on the ball either. So this guy for me, attacking midfield and SS out the question. He's nowhere near good enough with his passing. He's not going to be comfortable on the ball. And outside of that, what's he great at? Not a lot really. So then you go back to his normal position, centre forward, 85 attacking awareness. I'd say that's borderline. You can get away with that. 82 finishing though. Not great. He won't have an active playing style as a centre forward. I've not quite covered that with one of my videos yet. I will be getting to that. But yeah, my personal experience, you know, not the playing style up front works okay, but you're still going to need the finishing though. So yeah, this is another card where, you know, you're just looking at the different positions, and the question is, what is he good at? You know, what's he going to be good at in any of those positions? Attacking midfield, the most important thing is being able to pass the ball, and he can't. And he's not even comfortable on the ball. SS, not as important, the passing, but you still need to be able to pass it fairly well, and he just isn't. Centre forward, 82 finishing. I mean, maybe centre forward is where he's still going to be the best. You just got to be, you know, he's going to be careful with the shooting, I guess. I mean, he's got first time shot, he's got long range curler. That probably is where this guy's going to be best, to be honest. Again, another one with heading, even though he's very small. To be fair, you know, the heading, jumping, they're both hitting 80 with the game plan boost, so maybe he'll pop up with a header now and then. There are some players who are deceptively decent. You know, Lautaro is the perfect example, but yeah, I'm not going to compare it to Lautaro, obviously, overall. But yeah, you got first time shot and long range curler, so I think, to be honest, the best value you're going to get from this guy is to stick him up front, which is his normal position, and just be very careful with his shooting. 82 is not great. He does have first time shot, long range curler. Attacking waist is kind of okay. The on the ball and passing attributes for a centre forward are okay. Not the quickest. Yeah, another card where, yes, some of the attributes are decent, but I just don't think everything really marries up to make him particularly effective in any position. I think centre forward is where he's most effective, and even centre forward, I don't think he's great. Certainly SS and especially the main position I've given him, attacking midfield, his passing just isn't good enough. So yeah, I mean, he's a whole player, so the attacking awareness is good. That's probably the biggest strength he's got. If you play him as an attack mid or SS, as a whole player with a high attacking awareness, and he does have first time shot and long range curl as well, when he's getting to those attacking positions from AMF and SS, fair enough. When it comes to getting to good positions to get shots away, could be effective at that. But like I say, on the ball, and especially the passing, they just kill him really as an AMF for me, and to an extent as an SS. So another one where maybe he's a handy one. He can cover a few positions, and he's got a few qualities, but overall, I can't see him being particularly good at any of the positions he's got. This isn't a great card in my opinion. And next we have another 4-star centre-back with 83 tackling. Yikes. So straight away there's a big concern with this guy. So we've got Cacá, I'm not sure how you say that. Build-up centre-back. I've got his GP card on my Brazil account actually. Plays for Corinthians, got a face scan. First time I've had a feature version of this guy. And again, trundling centre-back, so a bit of a boost to his pace, his stamina, his passing, his aerial ability has been boosted as well, a little bit as well. Put a couple of points on his defensive engagement. Cool. That's about it really. Skill-wise, so another centre-back who's in player of the month because he scored a goal, I guess, because he got first-time shot. They've also added interception. Not sure if area superiority is new again. I think eFootball Hub's still struggling with area superiority, but they've added acrobatic clearance and fighting spirit. So yeah, some good additions there, but we're also lacking some. We're badly lacking man marking blocker. Man marking and block are two really important skills for a centre back. So he's missing two very important skills. Only 83 for tackling. Yes, the rest of his attributes look pretty solid. He's about 6'1", 6'2". Apart from tackling, the defensive attributes are okay, even if the awareness and engagement aren't amazing. But the tackling is iffy. Pace is decent enough for a centre-back. Jumping and physical, you can get away with those. I'd like to be a bit higher, but it is a 4-star, so I think for a 4-star, they're okay. Everything's looking kind of okay for a 4-star, just the tackling is not great, and he's lacking a couple of very important skills. And to be honest, just for that alone, those two skills being missing, and the fact this tackling is a bit low, I don't fancy this guy at all. It's a bit of a shame, you know, if the tackling was just a couple higher, so you got into, or even just one higher to get into +3 territory, and if he had those two skills, I'd have said this would be a solid option for a Brazilian League squad. Not an amazing one, but a solid one. But I think just those few slight concerns from me are enough to really put me off this guy. It's a bit of a shame, really, because he does have a bunch of attributes that are solid enough. But yeah, tackling's important on the centre-back, obviously. Arguably the most important attribute. Certainly one of the most important ones. It is a bit on the low side. And man mark and blocker are two very important skills as well. So yeah, there are some qualities. He's got some good skills. He's got some solid attributes, but where he is lacking a couple of very important areas. So for me, this isn't a great centre-back even for a 4-star contract, unfortunately. And the last of our 4-stars, we've got Paulo Henrique, an attacking right-back. No face scan on this guy. Plays with Vasco da Gama. I've had a previous version of this guy. I've had a 3-star player of the month card ages ago. This one's obviously better than that one. He's got more skills as well. He's been boosted a bit on the ball from his GP card, albeit his ball control type possession is still pretty bad for an attacking fullback. His low pass been boosted, his finishing's been boosted. Again, he's probably scored a goal. That'll be why he's in player of the month. Boosted defensives a little bit. A bit more physical contact. Again, trending fullback, so they've nerfed his lower body, but they've boosted his acceleration a bit. That's fine. It's the pace is looking good, the balances, the stamina's looking good. Pretty much everything down the right's looking good, to be fair. It's a card where most attributes are looking good. It's the few that aren't so great. The ones that aren't so great, really, it's the defensive awareness, the ball control and tight possession. You could argue low pass as well. So there are a few that are a bit concerning, but there are a lot of attributes here that are absolutely fine. Skill-wise, it looks like his GP card has just pinpoint crossing, so everything else is looking new here. Man marking, interception, 2 very good additions for an attacking fullback. And then getting forward, you've got soul control, heel kick, 1-touch pass, through passing, and of course pinpoint crossing he's already got. So for an attacking fullback, good selection skills on the whole. It's just a few attributes a bit on the low side, so it depends just where you look at it really, because I think some people might look at this guy and say, well, 72 defensive awareness is terrible, ball control and tight possession 72, that's pretty bad as well. Those few attributes alone might put you off this guy, but outside of those, the dribbling's fine. Low pass, you can get away with that, even if it's a bit on the low side. 78 lofted with pinpoint crossing, that's okay for a fullback. The other defensive attributes are okay for an attacking fullback. And like I say, down the right, he's looking fine there. I think even on a 5-star fullback, I think most people would say those attributes are fine down the right. So this guy does have qualities. It's just whether you can work around those few slight issues. For me personally, I think it's borderline. I think if you like an attacking fullback and you're lacking options in the area, the Brazilian knee squad, I think he can be very decent value for a 4-star. Yeah, you'll have to obviously be mindful of the fact his awareness isn't great, and he's not going to be too great in possession of the ball. But outside of that, I think there are plenty of qualities with this guy. I think as an attacking fullback, he could be a decent option. But I think if you don't get the Brazilian knee challenge, it's probably a bit of a stretch. I still think he's usable. If you feel like you can work around those few weaknesses, even outside the Brazilian challenge, and if you really need right back options, he could definitely do a job for you. Because like I say, you know, the pace, the athleticism, the other attributes with his defending, and you know, his crossing is okay. He does have a very decent selection of skills. He could be a usable one, but not for everyone. But certainly if you do get the Brazilian challenge, yes, a few attributes are pretty low, but a lot of them are pretty decent. So I think for a fair few people, for the Brazilian challenge, for a 4-star contract, he could actually represent pretty decent value for you. So out of all the 4 stars, these are my recommendations. I don't think much of the Brazilian knee pack this time around. Paulo Henrique, I think is borderline. Where's my cursor gone? I've lost my cursor. There it is. Yeah, I think Paulo Henrique is borderline. You know, the defensive awareness, the ball control and tight possession, those are the 3 attributes that are really concerning to me. But if you feel like you can work around those attributes outside of those, he's looking like a pretty solid right back option. So I think especially if you get the Brazilian knee challenge, he could well be worth a 4-star. Fukazawa is not down as a fullback, but I don't fancy him left midfield. I think as a fullback, he could be alright. Not amazing, but he could certainly do a job. But if you've only got 1 4-star contract and you want a fullback for your J-League squad, Muroya is the guy you want to look at. He can play right back, he can play left back, he's fully 2-footed. The skills, the attributes, you know, sure, you might like some of the attributes to be a little bit higher, but there's nothing majorly bad. I think on the whole, this guy's a very solid fullback option, right back and left back. He's one of the better options you've got this time around. And then you got a couple of wide men. I do say wide men because Soma for me, like I say, is passing. I don't think it's going to be good enough to play attacking midfield. But you got 2 guys I think, especially out wide, can be very handy. Small, quick, nippy. They're going to feel pretty good in the ball. Soma is better than Élber. Élber could still be a decent one though, based on my personal experience. He feels pretty neat on the ball, very responsive. But Soma especially, I think Soma's the pick out of all the 4 stars. I think Muroya is a very solid fullback option. But Soma for me, I think is the best of the lot. He's going to be quick. He's going to be neat on the ball. He's got a bit of end product. I think for a 4-star contract, Yuki Soma could be a really, really nice one to pick up, especially for a J-League squad. But I think even outside the J-League squad, could be a really handy one to have. Can play left or right. And yeah, for a 4-star contract, I think that could be one that could represent pretty good value for a lot of people. So now we move on to the 5 stars. We've got a couple in the Brazilian League pack. Let's start with Luciano Juba. Juba, don't know how you say that. Doesn't have a face scan. He's an attacking left back. First time I've had a feature version of this guy. Looks like his weaker foot accuracy might have been increased. They boost him a bit on the ball. His lofted pass is looking nice. That's going to hit 90 with the game plan boost. Oof. He's going to have a nice cross on him. Assuming he's got pinpoint crossing. He does. Okay, so this guy can cross the ball. It boosts his finishing a bit. So again, he's probably scored in the past month. That finishing is high for a fullback. You don't often see fullbacks, even 5-stars, with getting past 80 when in the game plan for finishing. Defending's been boosted a bit, albeit awareness and tackling is still a bit bad. That's a concern. Lost a bit of speed, gained a bit of acceleration. Again, it's what you expect from a trending fullback. Albeit 5-star fullback, I'd want a bit more pace overall. It could have been a bit more generous there. Physical contact and balance up a bit as well. What they've done skill wise, they've added dipping shot, acrobatic finishing, first time shot. He's already got long range shooting. It makes me want to look up the highlights and see what he's got into player of the month for, because it sounds like he scored an amazing goal. Maybe he's on his weaker foot as well, if they put his weaker foot up a bit. Yeah, I'm going to look that up, see if he scored a good goal. What else they added? First time shot, interception. So he's got 1 defensive skill. Okay, so I think it's pretty clear what we're looking at here. We're looking at a very attacking fullback. Because defensive awareness and tackling are bad, and the only defensive skill he's got is interception. If you're like a very attacking fullback, he could really do a job for you. But yeah, defensively, there's a big concern of a couple of attributes. And he's only got 1 defensive skill, so defensively is a big question mark. But certainly when he gets forward, I would still like a bit more pace on him. But that crossing, lofted 87, he's got some power, he's got a bit of kicking power as well. He's going to have a really nice cross on him, this guy. He can really, really cross the ball. The rest of the attributes down the right, the athleticism is fine. Over on the left there for a fullback, decent on the ball. The low pass is fine. Lofted, as I say, is great. Finishing, going past 80 for finishing for a fullback. And we got dipping shot, low man shooting, acrobatic finishing, first time shot. On the rare occasions you're in a shooting position with this guy, he can shoot. He can get a shot away for you. You could score some bangers with this guy, to be fair. So yeah, as a fullback, I don't know. For me personally, I like an attacking fullback, but I do like my fullback still to be able to defend to some extent. And this guy can't defend to quite the extent I'd want him to. So there's a big concern defensively. I'd like a little bit more pace on him as well. So as a fullback, I'm not sure. For a 5-star contract, that's iffy to me. As a left midfielder or a left winger, though, if you pushed him higher up the pitch, could he do a job for you there? Whether or not he can cross the ball's out of the question. He can certainly shoot as well. So shooting and crossing, definitely capable. Pace, borderline. I think that's okay for most people. I would like a little bit more pace, but I think you can certainly work with that. The thing for me, if you're going to use him as a winger, is on the ball. Is he good enough on the ball? He's not terrible on the ball, but he's not brilliant either. None of these attributes are even in +3 territory, so I think if you're going to use him just for spamming crosses, he could be pretty effective. You know, if you just get him on the ball on the left, keep it simple. Don't try to do too much dribbling, because he's not going to be too great on the ball. But if you just get him into decent positions on the left, whips and crosses in, he could be pretty effective for you. So, yeah, both couple of ways you can use this guy: as a very attacking left back with a big question mark over his defensive ability, or as a left winger, essentially just for spamming crosses. Could be effective in both roles, but he's not going to necessarily be for everyone, because like I said, I think most people would prefer a forward to be able to defend better, and not everyone wants to just spam crosses from out wide. So he's not going to be for everyone. There are qualities there, but there are some 1 or 2 glaring weaknesses, whether you play him as a winger or a fullback. He does have some good skills there. He could be one of these cards who could be just fun to use. You know, if you're trying to play competitively, that's probably where he's going to be lacking for you in 1 or 2 ways. But if you just want someone who's fun to use for your Brazilian E squad, a bit of a Temi Roberto Carlos, the fact that you can cross and shoot, could be a fun one. I'm kind of half tempted to try him out, but yeah, like I say, whichever way you use him, yeah, could be fun, could put some very good crosses in for you from the left-hand side. And as a fullback, certainly very good going forward, but there's a big question mark over his defensive ability as a fullback. So yeah, concerns whether you use him as a winger or a fullback, but it could be quite fun to use this guy, and for a fair few people, could be worth picking up. But I think ultimately for me, just the fact is a 5-star. This guy is a 4-star. I think I'll definitely pick him up and think, yeah, it could be some quite fun to try him out now and then with our Brazilian league squad. But for a 5-star contract, especially considering it's not clear how many 5-star contracts we're going to be getting these days, I'm not sure he's going to be that worthwhile. But we'll see which other options we've got. And our next option is Luiz Araújo from Flamengo. So we've got another creative playmaker who's not great at passing. Awesome. So this guy does have a face scan. He's a right or left wing. He's left-footed. So first question, is he going to cross it from the left-hand side as a left-footer? 77 lofted. No pinpoint crossing. Yeah, I think he's going to be primarily playing off the right wing, cutting it onto his left foot. But yeah, this guy's looking decent, to be fair. On the ball, at least, he's looking pretty tidy. Pace, pretty tidy. For a wide man, the end product looks okay. What's the skill situation? So we've got through passing, and then we got long range curler, dipping shot, long range shooting, and first time shot. Okay, so you're cutting onto his left foot. He does have some end product there. Not amazing end product, but for a wide man, it's okay. Again, though, creative playmaker for me personally is not the playing style for me out wide. I want my wingers to be making more attacking runs into good positions. I don't want to hold him back and just looking to get on the ball. But that's personal preference. You might like that. What if they boost on this guy? We've actually had a recent version of him. We've had a highlight from, I think it's from some kind of Brazilian League Showtime pack quite recently. About the same as this one overall. Obviously, that one is trainable though. But yeah, with that boost from his GP card, the left column has had a bit of a boost apart from lofted pass. So most of the left column's been boosted a bit. His defensive ability has been boosted, of course. Why wouldn't it be? Kicking power's up a bit more physical contact than normal, more balance as well. Yeah, that's about it. Which skills are new? First time shot is new. Through passing is new. Fighting spirit is new. I think we've lost low lofted pass. That's a decent trade though. We've got some decent skills overall. Got a bunch of shooting skills. Through passing as well. Outside curl is always a handy one to have. Fighting spirit, that always helps. So yeah, I think this is a decent looking card. One thing that there's a little bit concerning is the attacking awareness, but as a creative playmaker, it's not the most important attribute. If he was a whole player or a roaming flank, or like a prolific winger, if he was a wide forward, I would want that attacking awareness to get up to 80 plus in the game plan. But as a creative playmaker, he's not going to be as aggressive with his forward running, so I don't think it's as important. It's still important. You want him to be able to, you want your players to react quickly to the ball and stuff in the opposition half. But yeah, I'd like to be a bit higher, but I think on a playmaker, you can get away with that. He's certainly decent on the ball. He's certainly got some pace. Passing and shooting is decent enough for a wide man. It's not amazing, but it's decent enough. And down the right, obviously he's got the pace, but I'd like a bit more balance on him, to be fair. But on the whole, I think you've got a decent 5-star option. But I think this is one of these cards where it's going to come down to whether you get the Brazilian League Challenge. If you like Flamengo, if you rock a Flamengo squad, obviously I think it's almost pretty certain you're going to get this guy. But if you get the Brazilian League Challenge, it could be a handy one to pick up. But again, like I just said when we were looking at the left back, Juba, whatever his name was, how many 5-star contracts are we going to get these days? We've got 6 5-stars to look at in the back in the game pack. 2 in the Brazil pack. That's 8 to choose from. It depends how many 5-stars you got. On my main account, I don't have any currently. I've got 0. I'm going to get 1 from doing the AI event, but that's just 1, and we're not sure if we're going to get another one. So is this guy good enough to use your 5-star on when you consider the other options? I'm not sure. I think in terms of being competitive, he's probably a better option than Juba, the left back. Might not necessarily be as fun. That Juba guy might just be a meme card with his shooting and crossing from fullback, but yeah, certainly competitively he's probably a better option, but not the most exciting card. So yes, it's a solid card, could be very usable, could very well be a decent one for a 5-star contract, but it's just a question of which other options there are, and you may well find there are other better options when 5-star contracts seemingly might be more scarce than they used to be. So like I say, there are 6 options in the back in the game pack. I just pressed the wrong button because I'm an idiot. And if we can finally make our way to this pack, as you will see, yeah, so we've got 6 5-stars in here. So we're going to look at these guys. These are trainable cards. So we're going to get onto eFootball, which is now back up and running, thankfully. Train these guys up. We're going to see which of these guys might be a good option for you as well. So let's start with Marc Bernal. So this is our first version of Marc Bernal from Barcelona. I didn't realise he'd been injured, to be honest. I assume he's been injured if he's in the back in the game pack. Or maybe it's just a flimsy excuse to put a player from a partner club in. Could be a bit of both, I don't know. But yeah, first version we've had of him. He has a face scan, of course, because he plays for Barcelona. He's an anchor man. Defensive midfield, can also play centre midfield. He's a lefty. Lacking skills, so straight away there's a negative there. One touch pass, weighty pass, interception. Those are all good skills to have, but there are a lot of other skills that would also be good to have. So yeah, he's a bit lacking in the skills. Through passing would be the first one I'd look to give him. And then as an anchor man, you're going to want to give him some defensive skills as well. You've got interception, but for me, man marking, blocker. What's that, 3? So through passing, man marking, blocker. I would give him fighting spirit. And then for the remaining one, take your pick. There's a lot you can choose from. I think those ones are probably the ones that I would start with, though. But yeah, let's jump over to eFootball. We're going to train this guy up and we'll see how good he is. So, all maxed out, all boosted up. He's all right. He's not bad at all. He's not amazing, but he's not bad at all. So from his GP card at level 1, they boosted him mostly on his dribbling, his aggression, his pace and his balance. And yeah, he's obviously had a nice boost from his GP card. It's a solid card. This looks very usable. Yeah, would I change much? I don't think I would change much, to be honest. I think with the auto allocation here as a DMF, I think that build's pretty solid. I'd be tempted. Well, I say I wouldn't change much. Straight away, we've got another one of these builds where I've always said it. You can't trust auto allocation, but there are some cards these days where it's just not efficient. Those last 2 increases on defending cost 4 points each. We take 2 away from defending. You get 8 points to play with there. You can nudge his low pass up to 90. And he's still got 5 there. What can we do with that? Bit more stamina. What are we going to do? I'm going to make him a bit better on the ball, actually. Because there you get to that threshold to get his ball control to 88. 86 to 88 with the last increase there. Yeah, I'm going to do that. When you think about Barcelona, you think about Anchorman, you think about Busquets. You want to make him quite nice and all. Make him able to play make from deep, even if he's an anchorman, even if a big part of his job is to be able to defend. I think I'd probably do that personally. So he's going to have a nice pass. He does need the through passing skill to really make the most of his passing. Bit more control on the ball. That ball control to 88. Defensively, he's solid. Tackling's at 90. Down the right there, he's okay. Nothing's amazing down the right. I'd say just about everything down that right-hand column is just a little bit lower than I'd like it to be. But I'd say it's all workable. It's all okay. On the whole, I think what you got here is a solid defensive midfielder, to be honest. I do want slightly different build because a lot of people don't mind the left column being a bit lower. A lot of people just want their anchorman to just defend. They're not too bothered about the ability on the ball. So if we were to just apply that logic, we'll just do a very defensive build. We'll go down to 4 on both dribbling and passing. And then we've got more points to play with elsewhere. I'm going to leave all the rest as it is, I think. We'll just go up to 8 on aerial. And we've got 2 extra defending. And you know what? With the 86 mark awareness engagement, I realise we're 86 on physical contact as well, but I'm going to take 2 away from aerial. Because that means we can go from 86 to 88 on defending. So if you want a real defensive build in your anchorman, you could do that. Like I say, it's personal preference. I personally prefer the previous build because I like my midfielders to be able to get on the ball and pass the ball. But we all play the game differently. If you want your anchorman to just sit in front of the fence, you just want to defend. And if you're confident enough that you can keep it simple on the ball, you don't need too many points on those attributes down the left, then you might say those attributes are fine, in which case you've got some more defensive ability there. He's much stronger defensively. You've got a bit more physical strength as well. You could prefer that build. So like I say, this card to me is not an amazing looking card, but certainly looks like a very solid one. He just does really need some skills. That's the one big note with this card, where you need to give him a bunch of skills, but with a bunch of skills could be a very usable option. You can play him as a centre midfielder as well. If we were to use him as a centre midfielder, if we take a bunch of points away from defending, we've got to 8 on defending, 4 on aerial. Again, I need more dexterity as a centre mid, bit more attacking menace. His attacking menace is horrible. Got a low pass up to 90 again. Where else do we need something? Dexterity, to be honest. Yeah. Is it centre midfielder? No, the playing style. That's going to be the next position I cover. So the next video I do on tactics, on playing players without an active playing style, will be centre midfielders. We'll find out how he's going to play there. But I've used centre mids without an active playing style before, including anchormen. They've been just fine. I would build him like that if you're going to do that. So tidy on the ball, tidy passing. Still got a bit of defensive ability. Physical and balance, both 80 plus. Everything down the right is looking okay. I'd like a bit more stamina, to be fair. To be honest, as a centre mid, the only real concern is the attacking awareness. And obviously, don't shoot because his shooting's absolutely horrific. But you could use him as a centre mid. So if you're not really a DMF guy, if you don't like the anchorman playing style, centre mid is an option for you. You could use him as an attacking mid, apparently. Let's do a build for attacking mid. Let's just be crazy. So we can free up 14 points. Should we make him competent at shooting? No, you can't. You can only get him to 65. Let's just forget about shooting. How good can we get him on the ball? Actually, we need dexterity, don't we? Whoops. That's more important. I'll just do that, to be honest. The last 2, I'll just stick on aerial, get back to 80 for the contact. So, yeah. Attacking mid. Is anyone going to position train this guy for an attacking midfield, playing without an active playing style? Again, I'll cover that in a video soon. Is he good enough to play as an attacking mid? Attacking awareness? No. Finishing? Absolutely not. The rest of those technicals there down the left are good, but I'm not sure anyone's going to look at this guy and think, yeah, this is my new attacking midfielder for the Spanish League Challenge. I think it'd just be a waste of the position trainer. Position trainers, because it might take you 1, it might take you 100. And of course the skill trainers as well. So yeah, you could make him decent there. But yeah, for the trainers it would take, I don't think that's worth it. Wide midfield, I always train midfielders as a wide midfielder. Can we make Marc Bernal a cross spammer? Borderline. No, I'm just showing you what you can do. I'm not saying you should do this. Can you make him a cross spammer? I mean, if you really wanted to, he could be alright on the left, to be honest. Give him pinpoint crossing. He's a left footer. You use about 750 position trainers to get him left midfield. Pace could be workable. With pinpoint crossing, his crossing could be decent. It could be alright on the ball. Bit of a stretch, really. And likewise, right midfield. You took the passing down a bit. Not quite so important. You need some shooting on, kind of cutting off that right wing onto his left foot. Yeah, you can make some of his attributes decent, but let's be honest, no one's going to do that. Let's just go back to DMF before anyone unsubscribes. Yeah, as a DMF, pretty solid. Oh, you can make him a sneaky centre-back. Hang on. There's one more build we can do. Can you? Oh, I don't know. Iffy. I mean, if you wanted to get the 90 mark for awareness and engagement, you'd need 5 points on defending. It would take 5 points for the next increase. Let's do it. And what about area? Oh, now we need how many? We need 3 points to get his physical contact to 90. Who needs pace anyway? There you go. Sneaky centre back. Are you going to do that? No, you're not, are you? Let's be honest. 6'3", but jumping 75. What's the vertical reach? 269.3. It could be worse, to be fair, but you're going to need a bunch of skills on him. I mean, excuse me. I have covered centre backs without an active playing style. I know I keep mentioning that video, but I talk so much when I'm reviewing players and doing different builds about how they're going to play in positions better without their playing style. That's why I started doing those videos, because it's really useful to know. But what I found with the one on centre backs that I did the other day is that they just play like a build up, really, pretty much like a build up. So if you're going to train a player like this to play as a centre back, it's fine in terms of the playing style. It's not a problem. I've established that. So outside of the fact he's a bit weak in the air, he's not the quickest, he could actually be a pretty nice centre-back. He can be very nice on the ball for centre-back. Those defensives are good. The physical contact's good. You need to give him a bunch of skills as well as using the position trainers to make him a centre-back. So there is an option for you. I'm not recommending it. I'm just showing you that, you know, if for whatever reason you don't fancy any of the 5 stars that's around and you maybe want a centre-back for the Spanish League Challenge, it could be an option. But if you want a centre-back for the Spanish League Challenge, there might be another one you're going to look at instead of this one. So before we get to the other centre-back from Spain, we're going to look next at Ferdi Kadıoğlu from Brighton. So we had a few versions of this guy. He's got a face going. He's an attacking fullback at this point. He has previously been a fullback finisher. We've had a bunch of versions of him. We've had, I think there was a box-to-box at one point. We've had a couple of showtimes. One of those showtimes with the box-to-box, right midfielder, I think. The showtime's obviously better than this one. We've had some Player of the Month and highlight versions of him. There's a Fenerbahce Player of the Month that's pretty similar overall. Obviously stat shopped around a bit. We've had a highlight from a Turkish League pack. A couple of Turkish national team packs. Well, I think just one actually. I think he was only in the older one of those. All his highlights, I think, are fullback finishers. And all fairly similar overall, but I shuffled around quite a bit. And like I say, usually a fullback finisher, which is a very different playing style. From his GP card, they've mainly boosted his tight possession, speed, and physical contact. Those are the biggest boosts he's had, I think. And then skill-wise, no change to his skills, but he's got a very attacking set of skills. He's a very attacking fullback. There's nothing defensively. So on the ball, we've got a few skill moves, 1 or 2 shooting skills, pinpoint crossing, outside curling gamesmanship, but there's nothing defensively there. So yeah, skill-wise, you're going to need to put some defensive skills on him, depending what position you're going to play him in. But let's just jump over to eFootball Hub, and we'll see how well he trains up in the positions he's got. Because you've got a few positions here, so we'll start as a fullback. That's his original position as a left back. He's right-footed. He's fairly two-footed. I would personally prefer him as a right back. Let's just get him more trained and boosted up. And as you can see, he's pretty tidy. He's not always that good defensively. I think he's just been improved defensively on his GP card, to be honest. But certainly compared to previous versions of him, solid defensively. Got pace. Got some kicking power. Good balance from fullback. Fantastic stamina, 96. What's he gone up to lower body? So they've gone 30 in lower body. I mean, again, you can't trust auto allocation. 30 in lower body. That's 4 points that last increase. It's not necessary. For me personally, since he's a very attacking fullback, I'm putting those 4 points straight on passing, getting his lofted up to 80. That might be all I do on interface. It'd be nice if we can get the acceleration and the bounce to 90 as well, actually. Can we do that? Can we sneak a few points from somewhere else? Bosh, there you go. Yeah. Yeah, I'll probably just do that. I think straight away that's my build on this guy. Attacking fullback. Give him some defensive skills. Interception, man marking, blocker. I would give him those skills. And then I think you've got a very nice attacking fullback. Pace. The physical contact's okay. Balance is great. Stamina's outstanding. Defensively, all just over 80. On the ball there, the tight possession is a little bit iffy, but it's not too bad. And the ball control and dribbling absolutely fine. Low and lofted, both 80 plus. Yeah, I think that's a very tidy attacking fullback, to be honest. That's the way I would build him. Could you make him a defensive fullback? Because a lot of people do prefer a defensive fullback to an attacking one. Let's just see, how many points can we free up? To be honest, if you like a defensive fullback, you can just take all those points away. I reckon he's still, I think for most people who like a defensive fullback, those attributes at level 1 are fine. So we'll take all those points away. And then it's how good you can make him defensively. I mean, that's about what we can do, really. Yeah, he could be solid, to be fair. If you put the defensive instruction on him, again, I've covered that in 1 or 2 of the videos that I've done. You put defensive instruction on any fullback, he will play like a defensive fullback. And he could be solid for you. You can get those defensive attributes up into the mid-80s. Maybe you'd like a bit more physical strength on him. I'm not sure where you get the points from. Maybe dexterity, perhaps, I guess. But yeah, you can take a couple off dexterity, maybes. And then you can get that bit more on aerial, that last point. Gets ball control to 80. Maybe you prefer that build, I don't know. But certainly if you wanted to play him as a defensive fullback, and if you can spare that defensive instruction, he could be pretty usable. But it'd be even more important that you put those defensive skills on him, though. Like I say, interception, man, mark, and blocker. Those are the 3 that I look for straight away for a fullback. So you need some skills as a fullback. But yeah, as a defensive, and especially as an attacking fullback, can be very decent indeed, especially for that English League challenge. But as I mentioned, though, a couple of minutes ago, you can play him further forward. You can play him as a wide man. Again, no active playing style. I'm going to cover that in a video in the near future. But as a winger, you don't need those points from defending. You can forget the aerial ones. Let's just see if we can make him a nice winger. So we'll start with the right wing. He's a right footer. He's got pinpoint crossing. Can we play him on the right, whipping some crosses in? I think we probably can. Ooh, yeah. I mean, his crossing's not amazing, though. I'm pretty sure my version of Kadıoğlu, I've got 2, I think. I've got one from the original Turkey pack, and I've got one from a Turkish league pack. And I'm pretty sure mine's got lofted pass up to about sort of high 80s, maybe 90s. So I don't know if they've nerfed his lofted pass at some point. But it looks like he's not going to be quite as effective at cross spamming as he used to be. Still, his crossing will be okay. He's got pinpoint crossing, 82 lofted, 80 curl, 89 kicking power. He's not going to have an amazing cross, but it'll be okay. Maybe be better from the left. I don't know. If you were to say that passing is not quite so important from the left. I mean, his shooting's not great. I don't know. I'm not sure. I think previous versions, looking at this, I think previous versions of Kadıoğlu were maybe is a bit better suited to playing as a winger, because I don't think his crossing is as good as it used to be. And coming off the left wing, his finishing is likely brilliant. Yes, he's got the pace, got the balance. He's going to be good. He's going to be very good on the ball. Pretty good. I mean, the tight possession is still a bit low, but yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure this guy's quite as effective as a wide man as he used to be. Certainly got some qualities there. You may well have some joy doing that. But I think this guy primarily is going to be best as a fullback. Like I say, it's not just the fact that he looks like he might not be as well suited to playing as a winger as he used to be. He's also better defensively than he used to be. He's definitely better defensively than at least one of the versions I've got of him. So I think this version of Kadıoğlu is very much going to be a fullback for most people. And like I say, with the way you can build him, the initial build, I just tweaked him a little bit as an attacking fullback. I think it looks very nice. I would still give him those defensive skills, but I would especially give him those defensive skills if you want a more defensive build, like the more defensive build that I did, because you can make him very usable as a defensive fullback if you gave him the instruction, but those skills have been very important. But I think those skills are important either way. So yeah, that is the one negative with this card. He needs those defensive skills. We've given those defensive skills. I think this guy, as a fullback, like I say, as a defensive fullback, could do a job for you with that instruction, but especially as an attacking fullback, I think it could be a really, really nice one. Really good option for a lot of people, especially a handy one for that English League challenge. Could get away with him as a winger, but like I said, I don't think he'll be as effective as a winger as he used to be. And just before I finish, sneaky centre-back on Kadıoğlu. Why am I even doing this? Not really. You can't give him the physical strength, and he's tiny. Let's forget I already did that. But yeah, as a fullback, like I say, especially as an attacking fullback, does need some skills, but I think this guy could be a very, very handy one to pick up for a lot of people. Then next up, we come to Bremer. So Bremer, face scan, build-up centre-back. I don't think he's always been a build-up. I think he used to be an extra front man. We've had a few highlight versions of Bremer. They're all extra front man. Only one of them as good as this one overall, to be honest. He's had a couple of Destroyer Player of the Week cards as well, but this is a good version of him. And yeah, like I say, I think this is the first time I've had a featured version of him that's a build-up. And that to me makes him very appealing because I'm not so keen on Destroyer. And even though I've not been able to make an extra frontman play like an extra frontman lately, it still gives me a bit of anxiety to use one. But yeah, this is looking like a good version of him statistically, and that playing style might be an improvement for a lot of people as well. Certainly for me, it is. For a centre back, he's had the kind of boost you expect from a trending centre back. Really, the pace, stamina, bit of balance as well. Those are the main boosts he's had. He's got unwavering form. Good searching skills if I remember rightly. So yeah, heading and aerial, then we've got man marking, search and blocker, sliding, acrobatic, fighting spirit. So basically you've got the complete set of skills for a centre back and one touch pass as a bonus. So yeah, looking pretty good. But let's jump over to eFootball Hub. We'll see exactly how good he actually is, and he's quite good. Yeah, this is a good looking centre back card. We've got a couple of them in this pack. So defensively, as you see down the middle, he's very strong defensively. Pace is pretty decent for a centre back. The jumping is not amazing, 85, 6'2", he's got aerial, vertical reach 272.9, so yeah, he'll be okay in the air, not amazing. Physical contact at 90, so that's good. Stamina's decent. Low pass 71, that's decent for a centre-back, although the rest of those technicals aren't so great. Heading 82, it's not brilliant, but it's alright. So yeah, he's not going to be amazing in the air, Bremer, but in the most important areas, his defending, really strong, he's physically strong, he's got a good selection of skills, unwavering form, can use him in the Italian League Challenge. This is looking like a strong centre-back. In terms of the point allocation, again, why does auto allocation go for that one extra increase on defending when it's going to cost you 4 points? That's just stupid. It's just plain stupid. What I'm looking at is jumping, because if we can get jumping up too high, we get the +2 from 86 to 88. That's what I want to do. So we can go one higher, and then we've got 1 point left. We need 2 more points. I'm going to nick 1 from low body, 1 from dexterity. We're not going to miss those. And then we're going to go from 86 to 88 and jumping. So vertical reach up to 274.9. So about 275. Still not amazing, but I think it's worth doing. I think that's an efficient way to build him. I mean, you could take a couple more from defending if you wanted to and get his jumping to 90. I think that's fine. I mean, you're 90 plus in all defensives. It's not a magic threshold. It's not going to suddenly make him way better at defending if you hit 90. It's just 90 to get to that 90 mark. It's around about the level that I find is necessary really on a 5-star centre back. You can get away with high 80s, but I think if you go that low on defending and you get not just getting the jumping up to 90, but you get that physical contact to 94. Physically very strong. Like I said, I've not played the update much yet, but since the previous major update, physical contact has been very, very important. So you might want to build him like that. That to me looks like a very good build. I'll be tempted to build him that way. I'm not sure yet if I'm going to pick him up because I've got some legend centre backs for the Italian League Challenge, so I don't really need him. But it does look like a very good card to me. But for those who aren't too bothered about the aerial and the physical, you might want to just leave it on 12 and defending and get those really strong defensive attributes. But either way, with this guy, you've got a very strong centre back. I'm not going to bother with other builds. You're not going to make this guy a good fullback. You're not going to make him much of a DMF either. He's very much an out-and-out centre-back. He's got a good searching skills. The attributes are good. It's a good version of him. Build-up playing style for a lot of people is an improvement as well. This is just a straight-up, really good, solid centre-back for the Italian League Challenge and in general. For me, in a way, it's a shame that I don't need him for the Italian League Challenge and I don't need him for divisions and so on, because I just have really good centre-back options. Because otherwise, this card to me would be great. You know, I used to have a Destroyer Player of the Week version. I've still got it. I used that in the Italian League Challenge until I started picking up a few legends. I got Rijkaard a few months back and got that free Baresi as well a year ago. But until I started to pick up those legend options, I used to use Bremer quite a bit, and it was a solid option for me. So it's a bit of a shame really, because I'd have liked the build-up version if I had any reason to use them, but I just don't. But I think if you do need centre-back options, either in general or especially for the Italian League Challenge, this to me looks like a very good solid centre-back. And next we have Paulo Dybala. Is he finally going to get back to playing regularly? Let's hope so. So, got a face scan, of course. Creative Playmaker SS. We've had quite a few versions of Dybala, and this isn't the best. We've had better versions than Player of the Week. We've had a Playmaker, Deep Line Forward. They're all shuffled around a bit, but yeah, we've had better versions from Player of the Week. We had Legend versions. We had Showtime versions. So it goes without saying those ones are better. We had a bunch of Creative Playmaker highlight cards that are slightly better overall. To be honest, if you look at the better highlight cards, it's mainly the attacking ones and finishing that are better. This one's got a bit more speed. That's the main difference, really. between this one and his better highlight cards. Similar story with his Classic 10 highlight card, if you remember, if you've been playing long enough, when they changed the Classic 10 playing style, and they changed it basically from being rubbish to being really, really good, at least for some people. They did a pack to celebrate, and Dybala was in there. I actually kind of low-key regret not getting that card because I do really like the Classic 10 playing style. But yeah, in terms of stats, similar story, but that Classic 10 playing style and that version of Dybala makes it a completely different card because it's so different to Creative Playmaker. And in terms of the way they boost him from his GP card, not an exciting boost really at level 1. The highest boost really is, I think, tight possession, speed, and kicking power. That's about it really. Not a particularly exciting boost overall. But he's got an unwavering point. I don't think he's always had unwavering. I have a feeling he used to be inconsistent, but correct me if I'm wrong on that. I might remember that wrong, but he's certainly got unwavering now, even though he's hardly played the last couple of years. And skill-wise, obviously no changes, but he's got the skills you expect from Dybala. It's a shame he's not got any passing skills. I feel like he deserves one touch and through, really, certainly through. But we've got long range curler and first time shot. There's a bunch of skill moves there. Outside curl and heel trick are nice ones to have. Yeah, I would just look to give this guy one touch and through, maybe long range shooting as well. But let's jump up the eFootball and let's train him up. Let's see how good he actually is. So like I say, it's not the best version we've had of Dybala, but still a good one. First thing I noticed there, stamina, not great. Passing is not brilliant. It's going to depend how you use him. Let's just start with an attacking midfield build. So attacking midfield, he's going to need to be a bit better at passing, isn't he? There's loads of points on dribbling. Fantastic dribbling attributes. We can nick a few from there. There you go, straight to 90 low pass. I would probably just do that, to be honest. I don't think you need to do a great deal else. Could you nick a bit of dexterity? Get his finishing up a little bit? You could. I'll be tempted to do that. Attack away is not so important on a creative playmaker. Yes, you've lost a little bit of balance, but it's still good. Pace not so important on a playmaker or attacking midfielder. Yeah, as an attacking midfielder, tidy on the ball, got the low pass to 90, finish up to 80, attacking when it's still at 80. Could be very nice there. You would need to give him one touch pass and through passing. Very important to give him those skills as an attacking midfielder. But could very well be a nice option for you there as an attacking midfielder. He's a little bit lacking physical strength, but attacking midfielders often are. I think you can get away with that because he's going to be pretty nice on the ball. Stamina as well, I could get a bit tired second half, but yeah, certainly depending how you train him, like I say, you're going to need a few more points on low pass as I've done there, and you're going to need those passing skills, but you could definitely do a job as an attacking mid. You push him further up to SS, the passing is not so important. I would leave it on 8 for passing. As an SS, I'd definitely want it to be 80 plus for finishing, so I'm not going to go low on shooting. With those remaining 12 points, it's subjective, you might want to beef up his low body, give him a bit more speed, get that kicking power up to 90, especially for those long shots. And those last 4 points, I mean, to be the most efficient, maybe his dexterity. If he's going to be further up as an SS, bit more attack awareness, get the bounce rate up to 89. I think I'd probably be inclined to do that. I think a lot of people prefer to have the dribbling where it was originally, to have him really, really good on the ball, to do more dribbling with him. But if you're going to play him through the middle, I think end product's important. I'd personally do that as an SS, just behind the attack. If you wanted more dribbling, and I guess you can consider this more of an out-wide build. If you take a bit of shooting, you take some points back off passing, yeah, you can just do that and just whack his dribbling straight back up to 12. I think if you're going to play him out wide, or if you just want to use him through the middle and have him better at dribbling, like the auto allocation, I think you could do that and he could be pretty decent. He's not going to have electric pace, obviously, especially since, the age he's at now. He's not going to have the pace that he's never the quickest, was he, to be fair. He's more about his technical ability, but you can certainly make him very nice in the ball. I think out wide or just behind the attack could be very decent. Just like I say, it just depends on whether you really want to maximise his dribbling ability, or if you're more concerned with the end product. I'm personally more concerned with the end product, but if you're going to be careful enough with the passing and the shooting, you really want that dribbling ability. That could be the kind of build you could go for. As a centre forward, which should a striker build, I was going to go auto allocation, but I just don't trust it, so I'm not going to. Let's go 6 dribbling. I'm not going to go lower than that because then you go -2 and you go 88 to 86. I'm going to leave it on 6 for dribbling. Passing not so important for a striker. I'll leave that 0 for now. 12 dexterity. Yeah, I don't know about centre forward. He'll be playing without an active playing style. Even putting a load of points on dexterity and shooting, still only 86 attack awareness, 82 finishing. You've got loads of qualities elsewhere, but I don't know. I'm not sure that's the build. It'd be nice to use him as a kind of a deep line forward type of a striker. I think I've got a deep line forward version of him actually from Player of the Week. But But yeah, I think this version of him, without an active playing style, without being able to get his attacking rates and finishing a bit higher, I'm not sure. Certainly got plenty of qualities there. He might work well for you there, but I think as an SS, somewhere just off the attack is probably where he's going to be best. I'll just leave him on his auto allocation to finish up. So yeah, like I say, you can make him fantastic at dribbling, really nice on the ball. You can sacrifice a few points from there, give him a bit more speed, give him a bit more end product. There's a few ways you can use this Dybala card. His creative playmaker playing style will be active in all of his positions except for centre forward. But yeah, it's a Dybala card. It's not the best one we've had. If you've got a good Dybala card already, you don't need it. If you've never had a Dybala card, you really want one, it's a good one. It might not be the best one we've had, but it's still a good card. It's still a Dybala card. So yeah, I think just mainly just come down to whether a Dybala card is something you really want. Because if it is, it'll be a good card for you to have. Could be a really handy one for the Italian League change. So like I say, it's not the best Dybala card we've had. But if you want one, it'll certainly be a fun one to have because Dybala is always a very nice card in this game. And next up, we come to Éder Militão. So I mentioned when we were looking at Marc Bernal, there was another Spanish League centre-back option in this pack. This is it, and it's a good one. So he's got his face scan. Hopefully he's going to stay fit now. He's had a nightmare with his knees, Militão. Build-up centre-back, unwavering form. Skill-wise, there is one big concern, man marking. He's never got man marking. You're going to need to give him man marking. Very important skill for centre-back. But outside of that, he's got most of the skills he needs, really. Got heading and aerial, interception, blocker, sliding, acrobatic, right spirit. So yeah, the one glaring miss is man marking. So if you're going to get this guy, you're going to use him regularly. Try to give him man marking because that's a really important skill for a centre-back. But let's jump over to the hub. We'll see how good he is. We've had a few versions of Éder Militão. This is a good one, though. As you can see with auto allocation. I mean, again, straight away, 13 defending. It's just silly. We'll take that one away. We've got 4 points to play with straight away, and he's still really good defensively. And to be honest, it's obvious where they're going to go because you're 86 for physical contact. Let's go +2. Bang. But yeah, before I get into the building, we've had a lot of versions of Militão. I've got one. This one's up there with the better ones, to be honest. It's an old Showtime card, but just shows the way the power creep's going. This card's about as good as the old Showtime card, to be honest. It is quite old now. It's one of the early Showtime cards. But yeah, this one's up there with the best Éder Militão cards. I've got one, as I mentioned. I got that from that was when I had to go really deep to get Danielson. I think it was from that pack that I got him. Similar to this one overall. The one big difference for me though is that this one you can get his physical contact quite a bit higher than my one, whereas my one's got a few more points on tackling and a lot more on aggression. So I'm actually quite torn because I really like my Éder Militão card. I'm quite torn whether it's worth me going for this one, to be honest, because I do like physical contact on a centre back. It's a really important attribute. But I also like having a few more points on tackling and aggression. But this is a good version. It's one of the better versions we've had of Militão. They have boosted his physical contact. That'll be why he's got more physical contact than mine, because they put 4 or 5 points on physical contact at level 1. It looks like they've taken 2 points away from his aggression and his jumping, which is annoying. I don't know why they bothered doing that, but it is what it is. Not much else going on really with the boost. But as you can see, they're all fully boosted up. This is a good centre-back card. He's got a bit of pace for a centre-back. The jumping's decent. It's not got too much height on him. 6'1". The vertical reach, yeah, similar to Bremer, 275. It's not amazing, but it'll be okay in the air. Got more physical strength than normal, which is important. Defensively very strong, even after we took one away from that. Technically, tight possession's nice. It's interesting. The low enough to pass are decent enough, and we've got 1 point left there. I'll just stick that straight on passing. So you go straight to 70 low pass, 72 lofted. Yeah, this is a nice centre-back card, this. For me personally, I know a lot of people just like to max out the defending, but for me personally, I would nick a couple there, just leaving 90 plus. I'll go one more on aerial. In fact, I'll go 2 more on aerial. And just give him 90 physical contact. That to me is a lovely, well-rounded build. 90 physical contact on Éder Militão, you don't tend to get that. I think my one fully boosted is 85, I think, physical contact. So you got a nice boost on there. I think that's literally the number of points they put on his physical contact at level 1, to be honest. So yeah, if you prefer just going all in on defending, you might want to do that. But with what I've done here, still 90 plus on all the defensives. Jumping 94, physical 90, still got a bit of pace on him. Passing's decent and fairly decent for a centre-back. That's a good centre-back card. Like with Bremer, I think you've got 2 centre-back cards in this pack that are very, very decent. One for the Italian League Challenge and this guy for the Spanish, but even outside of League Challenges, I think they're both very usable cards. Like I say, I'm personally torn because when I look at this build, my Éder Militão, I think he goes to 93, 94 tackling, but I think he's got like 98 aggression. So yeah, do I prefer having those attributes, or do I go for this one and have 5 extra physical contact? I'm very tempted to get that extra physical contact. It's an important attribute, but yeah, either way, it's a very strong centre-back card, this. You can make him he is a right back. He's fully proficient right back. Let's just have a look and see what he's like as a right back. I don't trust the auto allocation at all. Go down to 8 defending. It's going to be a very defensive right back, obviously. In fact, we'll go down to 4 defending initially, because we've got to get a bit more pace on him. I'm not sure. I'm really not sure. He's going to be absolutely honking on the ball. Yeah, if you don't mind your fullbacks not being great on the ball, decent defensively, decent down the right. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure about this guy as a right back. If you wanted to just be an auxiliary centre back, then just train him as a centre back and play him at right back. A lot of people do that. Whatever floats your boat. I don't like that personally because it's absurd. But you know, whatever. It's a free world. You can do what you want. But if you're going to use him on the right, I don't really fancy him there. Certainly as a centre back, I do fancy him. What am I doing? There we go, auto allocation. So I'll leave him on auto allocation. Whether you beef up the physical contact like I did, or whether you just leave him really beefy with those core defensives there. He desperately needs the man marking skill to really finish him off. If you give him that man marking skill, I think you've got a really good centre back on your hands for the Spanish League challenge. Very handy. I've always struggled for build up centre backs in the Spanish League for some reason. I've always had a Pau Torres card, which is all right. That card's lacking physical contact as well, actually. Apart from that, I've not had another build up in the Spanish League challenge until I recently got PK. So, albeit I've always had a PK card, but that's a 4-star. That's a really OG card. So yeah, I've always struggled for build ups in the Spanish League challenge. I don't know if that's just me, but build up centre up for the Spanish League challenge. Look at the attributes. Just that man marking skill is lacking. Apart from that, I think it's a really solid centre back. Depends what you're bothered about. If you want to beef for his physical contact, you can better than you normally can with Éder Militão. But yeah, all things considered, I think this is a really good centre back card, and I can see a lot of people going for him. And last but certainly not least, we've got Rodri back in the game. He's almost fit again, or he was fit again. He's got another injury, unfortunately, but it's not a major one, so hopefully he'll be back soon. Anchorman, of course, like he normally is, defensive midfielder, unwavering form. Nothing new here. I don't think I've changed anything. So soul control, rising shot, love and shooting, then one touch and through, low lofted, and then defensively man marking, searching out, explosive fighting spirit, great searching skills for DMF. I think just blocker really is what he needs. If you give him the blocker skill, then I think you're pretty well sorted. That's all we really need. Maybe outside curler as well, but I think the only important one really that he needs is blocker. But let's just get over to the hub. Let's see how good his Rodri card is. Let's train him up. We've obviously had a lot of versions of Rodri at this point. We've had some trending ones. We had a player of the week and a player of the season one as well. The player of the season one's a bit better. Not quite as quick as this one. Got some nice. This is one of the quicker versions of Rodri. But the left column on that player of the season card and his physical contact as well were a bit better than this one. Player of the week versions not quite so good overall, to be honest, but the stats are always shuffled around a little bit. Had a couple of Showtime cards, obviously better than this one. But outside of that, he's up there with the better highlight cards. I would say it's slightly better and quicker than the free Spain one, which a lot of people have got. But yeah, it's a good solid version of Rodri, this. But like I say, he's had a nice boost to his pace from his GB card. It looks like they're taking a few points away from tight possession. They added 4 points to dribbling, though. Weird. Not much else going on there, really. But the most significant thing is that they boosted his pace. You don't always get a Rodri that can go up to 80 speed and 74 acceleration. So is he quick? No. Is he a lot quicker than he normally is? Yes. But he's still very strong defensively. The auto allocation is decent this time. Nothing's gone past the 12 mark. There's nothing wrong with going past 12. It's just not the most efficient, because as I always say, the first 4 cost you 1 point each. The next 4 cost you 2 points each, and then it's 3 points each. And then the next ones after 12 will be 4 points each. So I don't often like to go past 12 unless you've got a lot of points to play with. I think for a lot of people, that auto allocation will be absolutely fine. A lot of people, as I was saying with Bernal, on an Anchorman, a lot of people are not too bothered about those on-the-wall attributes. A lot of people will think those are fine. 4 points in each of those, I think, for a lot of people won't be a problem. And you just want to make him really strong defensively. I think if those are your priorities, absolutely fine as he is. You might want to go the auto allocation. You might want a bit more physical contact. If you just want a bit more physical contact, you can easily just take 3 away from defending there, leave him 190 plus, and then you can go 4 higher on aerial. And that gets you to the 88 mark on physical contact. You've got 1 point spare. Where are you going to put that? Put it anywhere you want. Passing, I guess. To be honest, you could see that 86 mark. I can't resist getting to 88 low pass. Maybe you could do that. Yeah, if you want a bit more physical contact, not just passing up as well, you could do that. That could also be a very nice build. For me personally, as I always say, I like my midfielders to be able to pass the ball. I like them to be comfortable in possession of the ball. So I personally would... I don't know, actually. We've got the low pass to 88 already. He's got one touch pass and through passing. You know what? I'll go with this. I think this is the build I'll go with. I've got a version of Rodri. I think my build on Rodri is pretty similar to this one, to be honest. There's nothing really lacking. We've nicked a few from dexterity there, but I don't think you're really going to notice that. He's a big, tall, heavy guy. He's always going to feel that way. I don't think you're going to notice much of a difference if you're going to take a couple of points of dexterity, getting a bit more passing on him. We've got the physical up to 88. Yeah, I think I'll probably go with that personally myself. I think that'll be the build I'll go with. It's a solid looking version of Rodri. You can make him a... We'll finish up with a sneaky centre-back build. It'll be interesting to see if he's a sneaky centre-back. Centre midfield. Am I going to bother doing a cross-bam build? Rodri the cross-bam, he's got a bit more speed than normal. You know what? He's not too bad, actually. He's not too bad if you want to cross-bam with Rodri. 88 lofted, he give him pinpoint crossing. He's actually decent on the ball. Speed up to 80. What am I doing? There you go, cross-bam Rodri. Anyway, quick, before I lose all my subscribers. Centre midfielder, so he's fully proficient as a centre midfielder. Can you make him a good all-rounder? Looks like you can. Dexterity, that's always the way when you make a DMF into a CMF. They're always lacking attack awareness, it seems. What can we do to get that dexterity a bit higher? That's about it, really. I don't think we can really spare enough points to get him past 8. 3 points per increase, that'll be. Yeah, I'm just going to nick one from defending, get him a bit more aerial, so he goes past 80 physical contact. Yeah, I don't know. He could certainly be decent as a centre mid. Again, I think that's the next position I'll be looking at when I do the next video, looking at players without an active playing style. But in terms of the attributes, certainly defensively still pretty strong, on the ball tidy, passing tidy. He's got one touch and through. Just the attacking awareness is a bit low. He's going to feel a little bit heavy and cumbersome. Not great balance. But yeah, on the whole, if you wanted to play him as a centre mid, you want to have Rodri getting forward a bit more. He does have some passing and shooting ability. Obviously, the finishing attribute is not great, but he's got a couple of shooting skills. The passing will be good. Yeah, if you want to free Rodri up and have him making a few more forward runs as a centre midfielder, could be solid. I'm not sure many people would want to do that, but if he did, could be an option for you. And like I said, I will finish up with a sneaky centre back build. Can we make Rodri a sneaky centre back? We can. Yeah, we can. I'm not sure what that noise was that I just made. Again, inefficient, going out to 14 defending. You don't need to, even on a centre back. We'll leave it on 12 defending, and we'll get his physical contact to 90. We do need some more jumping as well. He's 6'3", but yeah, jumping height, even getting his jumping up a little bit there, he's still just shy of 270. So he's not going to be great in the air. Could you get a bit higher? Is it worth it? I don't know. Probably. I mean, he could get speed back up to 80. Let's just do that. 3 points. So we'll go aerial. Why not? Yeah, sneaky centre back. Could do it. You only need to increase his proficiency once at centre back. So that might take you 1 position training. It might take you 3,000. Who knows? The position trainers absolutely suck. But in terms of the attributes, question mark over his aerial ability, but pace will be fine for centre back. Physical strength is fine. Defensives are fine. Down the left, he's nice. Stamina's fantastic. If you really want Rodri as a centre back, it's an option for you. I'm not recommending it necessarily. You would need a couple of skills. Block would be the most important one. I think acrobatic clearance probably the only other one. Maybe heading as well, actually. So you could do with a few skills, but certainly in terms of the attributes, you can make him a very usable centre back. So if for whatever reason you don't want Rodri as a midfielder, you really need a centre back option for the English League Challenge, for example, you can definitely do that. It's an option for you, but I'll just leave him on auto allocation because clearly that's the way most people are going to want to use him as a defensive midfielder. Whether you tweak the build the way I did, get his physical contact up a bit, get his passing up a bit, you can certainly spare a few points. And of course, my phone's going off because I'm recording. You can spare a few points from defending, but on the whole, you've got a very good version of Rodri here. He's got a bit more pace than he normally does. So if you don't have a good Rodri card and you want one, could definitely be a good one. It's a very good card, this. I think there's some decent options this time around. And when it comes to recommending which of those options I think are the best out of the 5 stars, to be honest, I'm not going to bother putting any recommendations on this graphic that I normally do. I'm just going to go straight back to this pack because this is what I'd recommend. I think the 2 5 stars in the Brazilian League pack could both be worth having, but I don't think they're anything special. I think in this pack you've got a bunch of good ones though. Bernal maybe isn't quite on the same level as the rest of the cards in this pack, but it's still pretty usable. But these other cards you've got here, yes, you need a few defensive skills, but I think Kadıoğlu as an attacking right back could be really good. Dybala, it's just a Dybala card, but if you don't have a Dybala card, Dybala's always good. Bremer and Éder Militão. I think those two are very good, solid centre-back cards. If you're lacking centre-back options in general, but especially for either the Italian League Challenge or the Spanish League Challenge, both these centre-backs I think are very good. And then Rodri is Rodri, and Rodri is always very good, and he's got a bit more pace than he normally does, which for a lot of people might be very appealing. So yeah, if you're looking at using a 5 stars, I think the most value will be from most of the players in this pack, to be honest. So there you go. Those are all your nominating contract players for this point in time. I was going to say for this kind of phase or this kind of match pass, but it's not the way it is usually. They don't have match pass. So like I said at the start, it's going to be very interesting to see what happens in terms of how many, you know, how frequently they give us nominating contracts, because the packs are expiring at different times, and the event ends at a different time as well, where we get the nominating contracts from. So it's going to be interesting to see how things pan out with nominating contracts moving forward. But yeah, for this time around, not too impressed by the Brazilian League pack, but I think the J-League pack certainly has a couple of very nice ones. Obviously, Yuki's looking like a very nice one to me. I'm definitely going to pick him up. And that 5-star pack, a couple of centre-backs, Rodri, you got some good options in there. So I think it's actually probably one of the better selections of nominating contract players that we've had in quite a while now. Some very decent ones to pick up, and it's going to be interesting to see how things pan out in terms of how many contracts we get and so on. So yeah, hopefully you found this useful. Hopefully I've helped you to make your decisions about who to use your contracts on. Let me know who you are going to use them on, or who you have used them on. That'll be interesting to know. Thank you for watching. As always, I do really appreciate it. Keep your eyes out for more videos, because I'm going to be doing more videos covering the other players. I'm going to do the new transfers pack next, and there's 1 or 2 more videos to come as well, and hopefully 1 or 2 live streams, and of course jump in the Discord if you're not already there. So yeah, thank you for watching as always. Really appreciate it. I'll see you next time. Take care of yourselves and have a great week.